is your first look behind the curtain. Friends, this is the Money Max account. Now, don't be deceived by its simplicity. I know if you look at that, it looks like any other budget worksheet you've seen in the history of forever. But what you don't see is behind the scenes. There are 4.5 million lines of code. There are hundreds of mathematical algorithms. There's advanced banking strategies. There's factorial math. There is enough math going on behind the scenes here to put a rocket on the moon if we wanted to. But that's not our goal. So friends, let's take a look at this. What do we see? Well, across the top, this is what we refer to as our dashboard. So the first thing you're going to notice is that if Steve and his family stick with the Money Max schedule, instead of paying over $400,000 in interest, they could pay as little as 144 grand. Instead of being in bank for the next 30 years, they could be debt-free in just 10.8 years, and they could potentially save over $321,000. Now, below this, we are looking at the action plan, and we can see their debts laid out in the order in which they occur throughout the month. It tells us where the money's coming from, where it's going to, in a very mathematically precise dollar amount. It's even color-coded for simplicity. If it's green, that means it's income related. If it's blue, that means it's interest related. It's either earning interest or costing you interest. And if it's black, that means it's a living expense. Even when you're debt-free, those things are still going to be there. So what is it that we are looking for? We are looking for arrows. The arrows is the Money Max account taking a 30,000-foot aerial view of your finances and prompting you to do something you wouldn't think of doing on your own. So that first strategic funds transfer is telling Steve and his family to take $12,875.88 from the home equity line of credit to pay down the mortgage. Friends, I want you to look at the mathematical precision of that dollar amount. It's not $13,000. It's not $12,875. It is mathematically precise to the penny. Remember Steve saying that banks are smart? Oh, they are so smart. And they are actually looking for specific dollar amounts on specific dates. And that's why you can't do this on your own. Can you throw extra money on your debt and get out of debt sooner? Absolutely. But you will not get out of debt as quickly or save as much interest as using this. Because you know what happens if you don't send the dollar amount they're looking for? They're going to hold it in an escrow account, earning interest for themselves until you send the right dollar amount. At which time, you know what they're going to do? They're going to hold it for another month before applying it to your loan because they calculate interest off of the previous month in balance. And you know what happens if you send more than what they're looking for? They're going to take what they're looking for and hold the rest in that other escrow account, earning interest for themselves. So friends, that is why you cannot do this on your own. You're chasing a moving target. So let's take a look at a month-by-month, blow-by-blow example of how this program works. And to keep it simple, I'm not incorporating in float and leverage. I'm actually going to show Steve and his family paying the interest associated with this program, but they're not going to feel it because the Money Max account has a way of finding money for you without you feeling the pain. So we're going to begin month number 1 with an offset account balance of 0. We're going to put all of our expenses to the tune of $6,500 on this account. We are going to follow that funds transfer in a very mathematically precise dollar amount of $12,875.88. That brings our balance to $19,375.88. Our income hits, bringing it down to $11,375.88. That money is not free. So the bank is going to charge Steve and his family $94.80 interest, bringing our balance to $11,470.68. What did we accomplish for that $94.80? We canceled over $58,000 in interest and eliminated over 2 years off of the back end of this loan. How many of you here tonight would be willing to invest $94.80 to cancel over $58,000 in interest? I mean, can I get an amen on a weekday? Friends, that is a very equitable arrangement. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Steve. I see you guys interacting there. So we're all willing to pay that $94.80. But guess what? We don't have to. Let's take a look at this amortization schedule. Remember I said between month number 1 and month number 2, we were going to see less than a $2 difference in the amount going towards principal if we stuck with our lender's plan? Well, by applying that extra $12,875.88, we see a principal jump of $66.37. We cancel over $58,000 in interest. We eliminate over 2 years off of the back end of this loan. We're more than willing to pay $94.80 to make that happen. But if we subtract the $66.37 from the principal dump from the $94.80, it actually only cost Steve and his family $28.43 to save $58,000 in interest. So let's go back to our example here. We are now in month number 2. Our offset account balance is where we left off at the end of month number 1. We're going to put all of our expenses on our offset account. Friends, let's talk about our expenses. Did you notice they stayed the same? We didn't tell Steve and his family that they had to cut up their credit cards. We didn't tell them that they have to live on beanies and weenies, ride their bike to work, no more date nights, no more movies, no more vacations, just suffer until you're debt free. That's not our plan. That's that other guy's plan. If you're used to golfing on Saturday, keep swinging your clubs. If you need $300 in your pizza for a pizza budget each month, keep eating pizza. As anyone who has ever dieted will tell you, prolonged deprivation leads to rebellion. And we want you to succeed here. So keep your expenses the same. That brings us to $17,970.68. Our income hits, bringing us down to $9,970.68. That money's not free. The bank is going to charge Steve and his family $83.09 in interest, which they don't feel because the Money Max account has a way of finding you money without you feeling the pain. That brings us to month number 3, where we begin our offset account with a balance of $10,053.77. Our expenses are what? They're still exactly the same, bringing us to $16,553.77. Our income hits, bringing us down to $8,553.77. But that money's not free either, so the bank is going to charge Steve and his family an additional $71.28 in interest that they're not going to feel because the Money Max account has a way of finding you money without you feeling the pain. We are going to begin month number 4, where we left off at the end of month number 3. What are our expenses, everybody? Say it with me. They're the same, bringing us to $15,125.05. Our income hits, bringing us down to $7,125.05. And that number prompts yet another strategic funds transfer in a very mathematically precise dollar amount of $4,310.20, which brings our balance to $11,435.25. Guess what? That money's not free either. The bank is going to charge Steve and his family another $95.29. So they cancel another $17,176.53, and they eliminate another 9 months off of the back end of this loan. Let's jump over to our amortization schedule. Take a look at month number 3. We should still have 357 months to go, but oh no, we're already down to 328. In month number 4, that number drops down to 318. Look at how quickly our balance is descending. And in month number 3, we see $493.12 going towards principal. That is a principal jump of $23.89. So we have now been using this program for 4 months. We have paid $344.46 in interest that we didn't feel because the Money Max account finds you money without you feeling the pain. What have we accomplished for $344? Friends, we have canceled over $76,000 in interest and eliminated over 3 years off of the back end of the loan. Gotta ask you, how many of you would invest $344.46 to save over $76,000 in interest? Exactly. Hands are going up all over the place. That is a very equitable arrangement. Now, we're going to jump ahead to month number 7. We're not hiding anything in months 5 and 6. It's just showing the program paying back the line of credit in very mathematically precise dollar amounts, different than what you saw in month 2 and 3, but the same concept. So we're going to begin month number 7 with an offset account balance of $8,685.91. Our expenses are what? They're still $6,500, bringing us to $15,185.91. Our income hits, bringing us down to $7,185.91. And that prompts yet another funds transfer in a very mathematically precise dollar amount of $5,304.98. I got to ask you guys, how many of you would pull this number out of thin air to apply towards your debt? Nobody. It takes the mathematical precision of the Money Max account. So that brings our ending balance to $12,490.89. That money's not free. The bank charges Steve and his family $104.09 in interest. What do they get for that $104? They cancel another $19,000 in interest and eliminate almost a full year off of the back end of this loan. We're going to jump over to our amortization schedule again. Month number 5, we should still have 255 months to go, but oh no, we are down to 317. Month 6, we are down to 316. Month 7, it drops all the way down to 304 months, and our principal balance is already reduced by $25,000. In month number 8, we see $527.08 going towards principal. That's a jump of $29 from the previous month. But if we look at it from month number 1, that is a principal jump of over $128. So friends, over the 7 months, we have now invested $603.92. That's what Steve and his family paid in interest. What have they accomplished? I hope you're sitting down, because that $603, it canceled over $95,000 worth of interest on this loan and eliminated over 4 years off of the back end. You know what I've got to ask? How many of you would invest $603 to save over $95,000 in interest? You guys, if that's not fantastic and exciting, you haven't been paying attention. So let's go back to our Money Max account. We've been using the program for 7 months. We've already taken the interest remaining from 141 down to 131. We've gone from 10.8 years down to 10.1. And if we look at the next dash lid, we see that we've actually eliminated over $95,000 worth of interest. And if we look down, what do we see coming up? Another strategic funds transfer in a very mathematically precise dollar amount. So how do we compare? Let's look at the bank's plan, the conventional plan, to the Money Max account. They both start out with the same $400,000 balance. At the end of 7 months, if you're on the bank's plan, you haven't even paid down $3,000. Here's the Money Max account. You've already paid off over $25,000 in principal. Now, we've got to be fair. Eventually, the bank's got to catch up, right? How long is it going to take the bank to do what we did in just 7 months? Well, it's going to take them 4.7 years, and they're still going to fall short by $116. Why is that? It's because the bank wants you to be in debt for 30 years. Following the Money Max account, Steve and his family can be debt-free in just 10.8. The bank wants you to pay over $463,000 in interest. If Steve and his family follow the Money Max account, they could pay as little as $144,000. So given the choice, and at this point, it really is a choice. Yesterday, you didn't know any better. Today, you have been equipped with knowledge. Given the choice between paying on your mortgage for 30 years or being debt-free in just 10.8, which one are you going to choose? Given the choice between paying your lender $463,000 in interest or saving over $318,000, which are you going to choose? I don't know about you and your family, but every $318,000 that stays in my family's bank account, I think that's a really good thing. But it's not only about saving money. It's also about time. What could you use or do with 19 years worth of mortgage payments? The answer is anything you want. You can take that money, you can invest it in real estate, you can invest it in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, asset-based insurance, start a business. It doesn't matter. The opposite of debt is wealth. And if we can help you eliminate your debt, we can help you become stone cold wealthy. We don't want you to be debt-free and broke. We want you to be debt-free with lots and lots of money, debt-free and financially independent, debt-free and retire with dignity. Friends, what you just saw, this is a plan that is backed by science. It's the one, the only web-based interactive debt to wealth program on the market today. It has 4.5 million lines of code, hundreds of mathematical algorithms, advanced formulas, advanced banking strategies, factorial math. It connects with over 13,000 banks and lenders. And although it sounds like magic, it's really just math. So what's your next step? The next step is to get back with the interest cancellation specialist who invited you here tonight and ask them to run a complimentary savings report so you can see a side-by-side comparison of the bank's plan and our plan, and then look at the difference. I mean, would you rather pay the bank $666 or $866,000, or would you like to save $321,000? Do you want to be in debt for 30 years, or do you want to save 19 years? Do you want to retire dead, broke, and busted, or do you want to have an extra $1,047,000? Because once you're debt-free, if you just redirected the money that used to go to servicing your debt and put it into a savings account, you could have over $1 million in this example. Friends, this is what the banks are robbing you of. It's not just, and I say that tongue in cheek, it's not just the $321,000 in interest. It's the $1 million+ that you could accumulate towards retirement. So get back with whoever invited you here. Let the numbers do the talking. You have absolutely nothing to lose but years off of your mortgage and possibly hundreds of thousands of dollars in unnecessary interest payments.